Sports in Jibberish. I'm Jibberish.
I'm Jack Luffman.
You know, I just realised then I was like working out which hand to go with, and I could see my watch in the reflection. Like, must raise this hand.
That's clever. You've worked it out finally.
Yeah, well,
95 episodes in.
I'm going to have to just keep wearing a watch every time I do this so I know what's going on.
You're alright,
Well, I was going to say, you're looking very sporty today. Oh no, you also look like a BTEC student.
I am a big post 16, mate. I wear it with pride.
So what have you been up to today that has required you to wear a post 16 kit?
You organised a sports day, didn't you, for, well, not just 12 and 13, but 10, 11 as well, wasn't it?
10, 11, yeah.
Alternative sports day. So it was a very good morning. What did they do? Dodgeball?
Yeah, so they had a choice of dodgeball, football, touch rugby, netball, and then there is the annual tug-off. Tug of war for you dirty-minded people out there, which sees all four houses compete against each other in a semi-final and final battle, but the winning team then gets to pull off against the post-16 team, which consisted of Jack, Brittany, Charles. How did you get Rob Culture in?
He's one of my form teachers, year 13.
Very dubious, mainly a Key Stage 4 teacher.
Is it year 13 form teacher? And Key Stage 5 teacher, lead biology.
And who else did you have in there?
Matt
James, and
Harry.
Yeah.
So we had a team.
They had a team.
Proper team.
They went up against 3 boys, 3 girls from the winning house.
Yeah. Well, quite frankly, we annihilated him.
Well, it wasn't as quick as you thought it'd be, was it?
Well, that's because somebody lent them a hand. There was a lot of VAR getting involved. Stuart Moore just suddenly comes on and yanks us back when we just had them there. But I just talked to him, just talked to the boys. So hold it. Booth will let go in a minute. He let go and we just took him off.
Well,
so I've led him to 3 victories in a row now. There's not a lot more for me to do in the tug of war scene. I might officially announce my retirement after consult with my management committee.
Oh, that does sound ominous. Right, so what have you been up to this week with the old swing ball?
Oh yes, we played the Exile, didn't we, last
You certainly did.
Saturday.
Certainly did.
And, you know, I'm usually quite, what's the word?
Humble?
Humble, yeah. But I'm not going to be humble today.
No.
Because we absolutely smashed them. And quite frankly, I'm fed up of their attitude towards me and a lot of the other players. There you go.
Ooh. So what score is it? Talk us through the scores.
So we bowled first and bowled them. Did we bowl them out? Kept them down. I don't think we bowled them out actually. We kept them down to 120 something. And we knocked them off in 16, 17 overs at a canter, only losing 2 wickets.
Brilliant. And what's their captain called?
I don't actually want to mention his name on the podcast. It's not worthy.
I'm just going to give you a big thumbs up, mate.
Yeah. I mean, I could call him what I really want to call him, but it's a family show, isn't it? So, but no, we thrashed them, mate. We're a very good all-round performance. We move on. We rise above it.
It's not what he was saying to me after the game. Or the day after, or the day after that. You must have settled a bit now.
A little bit. It's just pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
I believe your office has been a bit of a homage place for you. You know, you get a chance to relax and unwind, and nobody moves anything around or does anything.
You've obviously been really busy. I've been flat out this week at work, right? We've got mock. So some of our subjects, as you know, are like online from an online provider. So it's their mock exam period. So I have to oversee them. I've had kids in. Kids are COVID, so they're having to do it under Zoom conditions. So I'm busy doing all of that. Not in my office. Not that I'm in there very often anyway, because I'm that busy. Coming back, I've got my bag's been ransacked. My trainers. There was like the Burj Khalifa on my desk one day. Don't know who that'd be, do you?
No idea. And what was it? You said there was something else happened. So Burj Khalifa one day. Was something else another day?
I don't know.
No. What bottles in trainers?
Oh yeah, what bottles in trainers? Yeah. 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row.
I'm just trying to think what else I saw when I walked past.
Yeah. Because you just walked past.
Just walked past and happened to see it.
Oh, there was another one where it was like crisps. And they weren't even my crisps.
Under a box?
Yeah, under a box, yeah.
I had a look under the box just to check there was nothing in there.
And my apple had been moved, it bruised.
So
it's brown. It's very disappointing.
Oh dear.
Nothing more disappointing. Do you know what? There's nothing more disappointing in life, right, when you get a nice green apple. I don't know if you're an apple fan. I love a green apple. And you bite into it, and it needs to be hard and sour, and you bite into it soft. There's nothing more disappointing in life, I don't think.
I tell you, this podcast is definitely on the up. Talking about sour apples.
They're just like the sour grapes. Oh no, that was Exiles and sour.
Whoa! Right.
How's your week been?
Yeah, it was good. We played top of the league last night. So we played Dubai FC last night, who the league owner, or the guy that runs the league, is their centre half.
Right.
So straight away you're coming onto the pitch.
Is he that tall fella?
Tall bald-headed guy.
Yes.
So you're a little bit going on, and then you know that he plays referees as well.
Yeah.
So like, right, tonight we're going to be really up against it. And I think, well, I'll go through the match process, but there's something quite interesting happening. A few points in the game. So continuously before the game's about to start, he's checking with Neil, the league organiser, if he's okay to start. Are we alright to start now?
The referee was?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, please don't be playing this game already. We're not even kicked off, and he's asking if he's got permission to start the game. No, right, lads, it's time. Let's get on with it.
Dear.
Neil, are we okay to get? Neil's like, yeah, crack on, mate. Anyway, so cut long story short, a couple of minutes in, maybe about 10 minutes in, ball bounces centre half in front of me. It was only about 3'2", probably a bit taller than Wolby. And he's trying to shield it, so just letting it back him. Got a quick nudge over the top of him, come on the other side of him and hit a pearl that's just gone away towards the front post. And the keeper's had a dive, and it's close to hitting his hand, but I'm not sure if it had or it hadn't. So I've just called for it anyway. Anyway, the referee's convinced. The defenders are calling me a cheat and whatnot, but the keeper's not really arguing. So I'm thinking if it would have been, he would have called it out. Anyway, after the result corner, we've gone 1-0 up. So I've got a faint assist there. I say an assist to the assist to the assist. I'm involved in it somehow. 1-0 up, playing really well, looking quite dangerous. Ball comes over the top again, get in front of the centre half, give him a quick little nudge as the ball comes in to shift him out of the way, get in front of him. Ball's bouncing, keeper's coming in and out. I'm on the edge of the area just thinking about lobbing him or pushing it around him, and he just goes straight through the back of me.
The defender does.
The centre half just takes me out from behind, kind of had both arms on my shoulders, and then with his feet just kind of took my legs out from underneath me. And what can I describe as a weird tackle?
It's like a wrestling move.
It wasn't far off. I wasn't sure what happened, but I just know I ended up on the floor. And the referee produced an instant red.
Did he?
Yeah, right, you can imagine too.
How was Neil?
Was not happy.
Neil and the Exiles captain sound like they were getting on.
But the funny thing was like they realised it was a red card. I don't think they had it. And then they were like, he wasn't in control of the ball. Yeah, he was in front of the defender. It wasn't last man. Yeah, he was last man. And then he was going away from goal. I'm running right towards the goal. To be fair, as the ball bounced and I was going through, I was thinking, keeper's coming out, and the ball is not coming down off the bounce; it's going up on the bounce. So I'm trying to work out in my head, and for people that play sport, this process goes through your head in slow motion, even though everything else is going really quick. And I'm trying to work out: do I take a touch, or do I see if I can get it to come down and then lob the keeper? And I think I was just edging on the side of pushing it and see if I can get past him. And I didn't have to make that decision. He got sent off. Resulting free kick, clips the top of the wall and whizzes over the bar by about that much. Then, out of nowhere, we decided to sit pretty deep.
You just thought about that with the gaffer in the car.
Yeah. And listen, I tell the truth, and you were witness to that. And 3 minutes before half time, they equalised. We sat too deep, we invited too much pressure on. They've got some good players.
Because they're top of the league, aren't they?
Yeah, they're top of the league. So they've got some good players, like no doubt about it. So it's 1-1 going into half time. I had a talk, we're going to push a little bit higher up. About 10 minutes into the second half, get the ball on the right, and I see the centre forward, me and the right winger kind of swap positions because I picked the ball up. He's run across the front, and Steph's run around the back. So I've gone like I'm going to go there, and I've just faked and dragged it behind him. So it looks like it's heading towards him, but I put curl on it so it goes behind him. Anyway, it's bounced through to Steph. There's a defender there, and he's gone, chested it over the defender with his first touch. Keeper's come running out. We're talking 7 yards out, and then he's lobbed him. And all you can describe it, inside the foot, just a cushion lob, bounce, in it went.
All deliberate.
Unbelievable, yeah. Absolutely class. They were screaming for a handball. It's hit the lad on the chest there.
No handball, Neil.
No handball, Neil. Before that, this is what happened at half time. He's then going through the moves and stuff and saying how well he should be doing now, this and how that. I'm going, ref, what are you talking to him for? He's just a player. It's not a league meeting. This is just a game. Let's get on with the second half. Okay, yeah, sure, we're coming now. So it puts us 2-1 up. 3 or 4 minutes later, get the ball again on the right hand side. And again, I think it was Steph made a run across the front post to leave Dakin free at the back post. I clipped into the back post. Dakin took a touch and just volleyed it past the keeper. Really? 3-1 up, completely cruising at this point.
You're claiming 3 assists here, aren't you?
I'm claiming 2 assists, an assist and assist for the first one.
Get those fantasy points.
Yeah, I think key influential player would be the word.
That little blue star you get on those fantasy.
Well, I'll take any type of start the second time. And then 3-1 up, and then with about 8 minutes to go, Gaffer's run some changes, just freshen it up, brought a few of us off. No issues with that. I come on the side. I'm a bit frustrated because I've not scored, and I've had a few half chances I should have potentially done better with. And then with about 2 or 3 minutes to go, they get a free kick, and the lads at an absolute worldie scored a great free kick. Proper over the wall, dip, dropped, great free kick, put it 3-2. Just looked edgy. And then they were just punting balls in from all angles. And it's just a long ball.
Now, don't tell me you had it on time.
Oh, we had loads of it on time. We just carried on going. Everybody else had finished and gone home. I think the 7s had called last orders as well. But yeah, it was a long old game. But yeah, we held on to 3-2 win. 51 games now unbeaten.
Brilliant.
And now with games in hand,
you did say
will allow us to go top of the league.
Good, yeah. We're top of the league at the minute as well,
yes.
4 from 4. So good, all rosy. Yeah. We probably shouldn't move on before we give the boys a bit of a shout out, should we?
The cricket
boys at school. They've had a great week, haven't they?
Yeah, so we'll start off with the Monday game.
Yeah,
so
we've had a great week.
At school, we've got 15s and 19s hardball competition, and I like to throw both sets of teams in against the Indian schools in Dubai. They're a lot higher standard cricketers in comparison to probably the British curriculum schools. So I like to throw them in there, and I took the 15s in against some teams. And we were really scratching around for a team on Monday, a little bit last minute.
Still COVID final element, close contacts.
And the fixtures weren't particularly well organised. We only got released on Thursday before the Monday. So I managed to scratch around and get a team together. Anyway, they've gone over there and lost by 5 runs to our own Indian school.
So they're playing 10 over cricket to 15.
10 over. And if you compare their school to our school, we've got around about 3,000 kids in. They've got in a conjunction of around about 8,000 to maybe 9,000 kids.
Yeah, and 3,000, that's, we've only probably half of that secondary?
Oh yeah, probably a third of that, yeah. So in comparison, we are minute school compared to theirs. To lose by 5 runs and then look at how we lost them, it was just a little bit like, ooh, that was close.
It always is when it's close down though, isn't it?
And then the 15th played again Thursday, and I'll let you talk about the 19s in a second. Yeah. And we had another Indian school, which was Winchester, which is the Old Heritage.
Yeah, that's
so the 2 coaches, one was from the Old Heritage, and he stayed on with Winchester, and the other one's from the Old Winchester. So they both recognised me. We were having a bit of a chat about stuff. One recognised me from the work I did with Winchester, the other one was from cricket. Had a bit of a chat. He's now telling me they've got 8,000 kids in their school. It's absolutely phenomenal size, chucking out big numbers. And little Basil, who we've rated for a while, just seems to have accelerated in the last 12 months to another level.
He's played a bit of senior cricket before Christmas.
He would be, if we're looking at anybody, our potential UAE player to break into that squad. Scored 97 runs.
Yeah, 48 balls, I think.
On the last over, he was 25 short of 100 on the last over.
He nearly got
there. He got 97, and he ended up on 97. So he was only 3 short, so he scored 22 in the last over. And this lad, and this was probably against their best ball, because they laid the best ball to the end, he is just, the range of shots is phenomenal. And I was texting Jack going, you need to come and look at this lad. His bowling was good. I think he was eco about 4 and all.
Yeah, he's good. I remember seeing him so he would have been year 6 when I started. No, year 7.
Year 7 when we first had him.
I remember seeing him, and he comes and talks to me and stuff like that. It's unfortunate I've not been able to get out and watch this.
Yeah.
2 meetings.
You know, they keep saying to me, why is Mr. Luffman not coming? I'm like, why am I not good enough?
Yeah. But I was about to say, then the 19s won, didn't they? They were in another big competition. That's Vision, some proper 2020 stuff from the Lights. And they won as well, beat Kings Al Barsha, that again probably wouldn't 3 years ago wouldn't be favourites to beat them, would we?
No. They're, Kings are stating they seem to go through patches, but they've got a bit of a cricket programme going on there. So we don't have an official cricket programme out there.
Just me and Stu.
Just anybody that's free.
But I was about to say, so the 19's won, great win, so that's a great start. So we've got 2 more games of the round robin there after half term. But I do think that it's testament, because we've worked hard with them in the last 3 or 4 years. Even, obviously I didn't do a great deal over COVID, but even, that first lockdown we did lots of skills, didn't we, as best we could. And I think it's proving dividends now, because they're actually trusting the process, aren't they? And we're seeing results. And I tell you what I think's done well for the 15 this week. It's year 7 Shan.
Yes.
He's
year 8 now.
Oh, he's year 8 now.
Yeah,
he's done well for us.
He came in and he came into partner Basil, and he's great. He understood that he just needed to play singles, get Basil on, and he supported him.
Yeah, perfect.
And he was in for a while with him and supported
him. And he bowled a lot as well, I think.
He's done well. Yeah, he's playing really well. There's a lot of potential in that team.
Definitely.
So I'm looking at them for 13s, and we've got a good squad.
Yeah, and Trish and Isham really for the 19s did the business, which is they should do.
Yeah,
they should do.
Well, they're good to see Darren and Pranav back as well.
Yeah. Well, I think the head of the year I got into him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so he should.
And he probably wasn't the strongest side, the 19s. There's a few. Definitely the captain was missing.
Yeah, we had to supplement a few of the players because.
Imad and Basil would play 19s cricket.
Yeah, Basil would be your one you'd take.
Yeah.
Imad you'd go with just because his ability.
Yeah.
And his sledging is another level.
You don't encourage that, Stuart.
Yeah, but you need to watch his kids. He is class. The lad goes to play a shot, misses it, and he's shouting to the batsman, well left.
That's not the spirit of the game. You never see me do anything like that.
No, not like that game at DC where you and Clint fell out and you don't even met each other yet.
Yeah, that was interesting. Now we're like
best mates.
We're like friends.
Cheers to
all the Wanderers.
Right. Anyway, we've spent nearly 20 minutes talking about
ourselves. That's all right.
Yeah.
We don't usually do that enough. That's what we're told we've got to do, haven't we?
Yes, right. Let's whiz through. I'll tell you what. We'll just briefly cover. We'll cover the football with regards to the FA Cup.
Yeah. Well.
With regards to shocks, I think shocks almost happened with the fact that Chelsea got taken to extra time, and same with West Ham.
Told you the Agba soup.
West Ham with the last minute equaliser in normal time, and then the last minute winner.
Have you seen Declan Rice's
dances?
No, but he smashes it.
He goes right into the roof of there.
And then his dances, classic little Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Palace beat Hartlepool in an expected game. Everton under the new reign of Lampard won 4-1.
The atmosphere is unbelievable.
And they were like, yes, this could be a sign of things to come, and that lasted all of one game. Huddersfield beat Barnsley, City beat Fulham, Peter beat Queen's Park Rangers, which you could consider a bit of an upset.
Yeah, first time Peter got further than this round for years and years, I think.
Southampton again went to extra time. Coventry, a little bit of an underrated championship team, I think. They keep popping up with some surprise
results. They couldn't reach the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, Stoke City 2, Wigan 0. I don't know if you'd say that was a shock or not. Stoke not particularly going well in the championship. Wigan doing alright in the league below. I'd say this was a bit of an upset. Wolves losing at home tonight.
Yeah, I'd have thought Wolves would have quite fancied a little run and maybe outside bet of the final, but not to be.
Yeah, Cambridge 0 after beating Newcastle, get thumped at home to Luton, so I'll be disappointed with that. And then probably the upset of the day was Spurs beating Brighton and Albion.
Very good.
And then there's a few other ones on the Sunday. Was on the Sunday, which did throw up. This was the day of surprises. So Liverpool beat Cardiff, which wasn't really a surprise. And Liverpool really much cantered to that game. But great to see Harvey Elliott back.
Yeah.
And scoring.
I mean, it was a good goal. Great shot. What was the defender doing?
The defender's legs just go down it. And he's almost like a drunk person trying to get up.
He just gave up.
He's like, slip. I'm going to try and get... I'm just going to fall back down again.
It was a great touch and strike.
Lovely touch. But great to see him back playing.
Yeah.
After 5 months.
And so, just shows if you want it.
Yeah.
And the younger you are, quicker you can recover.
And then Forest go and thump Leicester City. Bit of a horror show towards the end. Did you see the Leicester fan come running on?
Yeah.
Completely out of order. I think that's getting a little bit out of hand. It seems to be quite a common thing.
Funny you say that. I think I read an article this week that said that there's been emergency meetings this week reviewing, because I think it's happening even more than what we see to a degree. But I tell you what, Forest, Cooper's got something going there.
You know, I picked them to go up from Prep Championship.
Did you?
Beginning of the season, I had Forest to go up, Sheffield to go up, and Bradford going up. Sheffield are just outside playoffs. Bradford are dying a death.
Yeah.
And Forest are in the playoffs now.
Yeah,
Or one place.
Yeah, and they're on a roll. I mean, it's just whether they can keep it going because obviously they were at such a disadvantage after the start.
Yeah, they were.
But there's some good players like Spence. They've got on loan from Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough been calling back.
Yeah.
They reckon Spurs are in for him in the summer. He's very good. And up front, young Johnson. I know we mentioned Brennan Johnson. He was at Lincoln last year on loan. One of Jezzy's lads who got on loan. He's scoring. I think Premier League clubs have got his eye on him as well. But it'd be good to see Forest back in the Premiership.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him playing the Premiership quite a lot because when I was a kid, that's our nearest Premiership side.
Steps in history, aren't they?
Yeah.
Forest? But we could. And then the other game, well, there's two other games, but one's only FA Cup related. Bournemouth lost to Boreham Wood. Nobody in their right mind would have seen that happening.
And who have they got drawn, Boreham Wood?
I don't know, but I know that they only had 2 shots all game.
I don't know who they draw, but I think they got a good draw if I remember rightly.
And then the other game was the African Cup of Nations game, which finished 0-0 after Mane missed a penalty in normal time.
Yeah.
To then score in the penalty shootout, which then led to the win for Senegal. And it was good to see him going over to speak to Mane at the end of the game. Just shows that how close the teammates are with regards to each other.
And did you see that? I don't know which goalkeeper it was, but the goalkeeper's water bottle.
I'm not seeing that.
I think it must have been Senegal's, as obviously they won. And I didn't see the penalty shootout, so I don't know if he saved many or not. But he had on his water bottle, basically post-it notes about all the penalty takers. Like stats.
I'd say half of that, I think, is mind games, just to try and put.
I think you're right. Yeah, definitely.
There might not be anything even written on them.
Because and also it's another thing. Like when you watch lots of good penalty takers, they tend to go the same way all the time. But it's saving it.
But I do always go the same way with the same style run up because I know that these goalies never pay any attention to it. But I hit it that hard and that fast that even if they do go that way, like when we played the Turks the other week. The guy was giving me the corner I wanted, but he was overcompensating on that side to say to me, "Yeah, I have this corner." But the ball had already hit the net before he even got to the floor. So
that's when you see look at
Harry Kane does it, doesn't he?
Oh,
he absolutely thumps him.
He tends to go with his right foot, wrap it round and goes so the keeper's right. But absolutely, like I said, they've got no chance. Yeah, and actually, if the keeper saves it, fair play.
That's the way I go. I open up like I'm going across the keeper to his left. And then last minute I'd rip my foot right round and try to go.
I would say that's his favourite way. He does sometimes go the other way or down the middle sometimes.
I have had a go at the old stagger one, but it makes me feel really uncomfortable.
What, where you stop your run?
Where you wait for the goalkeeper to make a move.
I hate it.
And I've done it, but I just felt so uneasy trying it. And it was a great penalty, but you are literally holding for that last second.
Rashford did in the shootout, didn't he? And sent the keeper the wrong way, and then missed.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
Premiership games were on this week, so we just mentioned Lamps, great start with Everton, and then he goes to Newcastle and gets done 3-1. Which, I'm saying this will never happen again in our lifetime.
What, Newcastle winning?
Holgate hits the
Oh,
ball, hits the crossbar, ricochets on, hits Lascelles, goes in. Then, a minute later, Lascelles hits the crossbar, rebounds back, hits Holgate, goes in.
No,
that will never happen in our lifetime.
It's a very good result for Newcastle and a very poor one for Lampard and Everton, I would say.
Yeah, just so many frailties for Everton's point of view.
Yeah, they are. And of course, he didn't play his 2 new signings. And I can kind of get that because they've had no match time, but he surely has to play this weekend.
I was speaking to an Everton fan at the beginning of the week, and I was just like, "You are throwing too much money at trying to crack over this situation. Your problem is deeper embedded. You need to, and I believe the director of football's gone now, but you need to strip from the inside out. You've got your wage bill's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
you've got too much deadwood on there. You need to strip it and then go back to basics. And except for an Everton fan, is that this season's about staying up.
Yeah.
Next season's about consolidating. Then the season after is now starting to build towards top 6.
They're in danger of going down.
Oh yeah, it could happen.
Yeah.
And they've gone and pumped a lot of money at Frank Lampard, who has got no experience of keeping teams up.
I think they're trying to hope. I think they've gone a bit romantic in the way that obviously he'll want to play football, which you'll get the Everton fans on side, which obviously did in the FA Cup. But it'll be interesting. I think he'll go all right. I think they'll survive just about. But I think they've got to get, I think from the outside looking in, they've got to, A, they've got to stop shipping goals, and B, they've got to somehow got to get Calvert-Lewin scoring, and they've got to, I think Van der Beek and Dele are actually quite key to them.
Yeah.
Because they're playing well, they are better than the other midfielders have got by a country mile.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And dare I say, I think he's a bad player, but his attitude, Richarlison would be an enigma for me.
I think Richarlison's a good player, but just need to find the right position for him.
I don't know
He's
where
not centre forward.
No, he's not.
He's almost like off the left side. So he might be better maybe as a number 10 where he just comes in and out.
The problem is, in the modern game, playing off the left, you need him to work back a bit, and he ain't going to do that. So you're right, he probably needs a bit of a free roll.
Yeah, and then West Ham now back in the top 4 race. Nobody seems to want to win it.
I know.
It's almost like they just trip over each other.
But we're saying, I don't think between, and I actually saw one after the end of the work before we left. I think between West Ham, Man United, Spurs, and Arsenal, there's not much to be tricky. We came to the conclusion, we kind of agreed. We think Man United on paper have the best squad.
Yeah, I agree with
and should probably finish 4th. He thinks that West Ham and Arsenal are probably, as a team when they're on the pitch, are probably the best teams. And I kind of can see what he means there. And Spurs have just got those X factor players that will keep him in the hunt.
Yeah,
and I think he's right. But I think Man United should finish 4th.
I think Arsenal with a better window would have finished 4th because they've got no distracting football. They only have to worry about.
And also, but the problem is they've got another man sent off. That's what he was saying. Another man sent off last night. Such a small squad. I think that's going to bite him in the backside.
Yeah, because I was saying this to somebody the other day. I was like, you take out the fact that when your centre half gets injured, the other one gets suspended. You play Granit Xhaka centre back.
Yeah. Or you could go to a young lad. I mean, that's why I was surprised. Not a superstar, but they got rid of like Chambers. But what we've just been saying about Everton and what have you, that he's clearly trying to get rid of the Deadwood.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a project going on there, isn't there?
Yeah. And then on Wednesday night, so Burnley draw Man United, as we just mentioned.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that 4th place, and everybody just keeps kind of throwing it open. City cruised to a 2-0 win against Brentford. Norwich 1-1 with Crystal Palace, which I'm pretty sure Norwich would have been quite happy with that because Palace are a decent team.
Yeah.
We saw them against Liverpool that, alright, they lost the first 20-30 minutes of the game and kind of put themselves in a bad position, but they had spells in the second half where they were definitely in the game.
Definitely.
And then Spurs capitulated at home to Southampton.
Yeah, well, in all honesty, they were a poor game. Scored 2 good goals, mind, and then should have won the game. But just gifted Southampton 3 goals. And Southampton do, again, surprises that pick up a result where you probably wouldn't expect them to pick up a result and I think they've got into the top half again now.
Yeah, and then the other game that night, Villa drew 3-3 with Leeds. And any fancy football fans out there, Coutinho would have got you loads of points, 2 assists and a goal. So good run from him. But I would say Leeds would be happy with that result beforehand.
Yeah,
Villa, with the fact that Villa are playing well and Leeds are so inconsistent, they would have been, we'd take a point there.
Leeds, I think, if they took a point from every game in the season, they'll survive, they'll be happy with.
Yeah. And then I stayed up like a numpty after football last night, watched Liverpool versus Leicester. Strange game. Leicester just kind of gave everything to Liverpool and just sat really deep and just said, come on, break us down. And Jota was playing well, Bobbs was in and out. Luis, the new guy, was sharp.
He looks
he had a chance in the first minute of the game, and I just wonder if it had been a little bit later on if he took a pop. So the ball's come to him, he's open up on his left, and I'm thinking, just hit this. And he's trying to chop inside.
Wow.
So I don't know if A, doesn't fancy a strike with his left foot, or B, it's just a bit too early for him to even think about that.
Game in his career,
But then was very unlucky, Schmeichel. He nearly made Schmeichel with a shot, kind of ricocheted off his ankles, hit his arse cheek, and then popped out. But Jota popped up another 2 goals. Salah came on for the last 20-25 minutes. So.
And Mane's still celebrating in Senegal, is he?
Yes, Mane. Well, Mane, I think I don't know if he's back or not, but Salah wanted to be back and wants to be back playing. So I think that would probably have been a nice game just to clear the mind. Yeah, clear the mind, freshen himself up. It'll be interesting now because Louise looks sharp. Jota's obviously on point and scoring. Bob's is so key to us linking games up, and then you've got Mane coming into the fold.
Firmino misses out for me.
Well, yeah. So maybe Mane doesn't start the next game. Mane benches.
Yeah,
and you go Louise, Jota, Salah. Well, it could be Bob's comes in and Louise misses out.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, good result. And then Arsenal, good old Arsenal.
Yeah, 1-0.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
With 10 men. It's like going back in time.
Yes. George Graham was in charge.
Yeah.
Tony Adams as captain.
Yeah.
But good result for them with regards to that chase for the top 4. So really that makes it quite interesting leading on to this week's set of fixtures, which we're back Saturday. Fixtures are back.
Thank the Lord.
We love Saturday football. I hate international breaks.
Larkin better have it on.
Oh my. Oh, it's not going to be like your birthday again, is it?
What happened to birthday?
Oh, Shell's birthday, where you weren't allowed to put the television on. And Spurs were on TV as well.
Was it Shell's birthday? Must have been mine.
Yeah, because she said, we're not. It's my birthday.
Yeah, that's right. Quite a guilt trip.
Oh no, it's a disaster. So yeah, Saturday sees United in the early game against Southampton, which go back.
Come on, the Saints.
10 years ago, this is 3 points for United, but not so much.
Unless it was, what was his, Richard Tsebian goal or whatever, the Matt Letizia stuffed shoulder for his legs.
Yeah.
What did the keeper play? Like 20 minutes of football.
And then he never played again. He blended his studs, didn't he?
Yeah, went through it. He wore jogging bottoms, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just seemed to suit him.
But yeah, that'll be an interesting game. And then the games at 3 o'clock for you guys at home: Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, Leeds, Watford, Brighton. You'd say that I'd like to watch the Everton Leeds game because I think that could be quite a tasty affair. And then the evening game, or the late evening game for you guys, is Norwich versus City.
Big non-event.
Not really one to watch. Sunday is a little bit more interesting. Burnley host Liverpool. Burnley, Weghorst got an assist, didn't he?
Yeah.
So a bit of a handful, but you can have a handful and then you're playing against Van Dijk.
Yeah.
And it's a different story, isn't it?
And Burnley just not very good.
Yeah. And we've not got a bad record at Turf Moor, to be fair. Newcastle versus Villa, that will be an interesting game as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a guaranteed. Spurs versus Wolves.
Another thing I tell you, I said to you, I think I said to you yesterday that the rebuild, that 3 months or whatever many weeks Nuno had in charge, or from the end of last season, is put them back. It's put them back a season because Conte's now got to try and salvage something from this season, as well as get something in place for next season that keeps his best players. Because there's no doubt that there'll be suitors for the best players again. Yeah. You know, we're not talking. They're probably going to be talking of, you know, Kane going to City for under 50 million, but I'm pretty sure that if Spurs haven't won anything or they're not in the Champions League, that some bids between 80 and 100 million are going to come in for him.
Well, he could go to a big club somewhere like West Ham, couldn't he?
Move on, Booth.
That's going.
Move on. Don't get on there, little.
Right, Leicester City play West Ham, and I'm going to throw this out there. West Ham win this game. Is Brendan Rodgers on the verge of being sacked?
I was about to ask you what you do for the results. You don't like Brendan Rodgers.
I don't know. I do like Brendan Rodgers, and I met the guy, and he is a really nice fella and very interesting. Someone that, if I was to have a sit-down evening meal with and around the dinner conversation, he would be on that table. Because I found him really just a calm mannerism about him and a very interesting and well-spoken gentleman.
But I know what you're going to say.
He's got no bottle.
But also you're going to say, is his job, I don't think he's on the line, but he must be feeling the pressure. Because he called him out after the FA Cup game, didn't he?
Well, what position are they in now in the league? They must be dropping like a rock.
The thing is, though, all I would say there, though, is that he did win the FA Cup last year with them.
Ranieri won the league.
He got sacked. But, I mean, that was a one-off. Where did Leicester go if they sacked him?
So Leicester, 12. Obviously, they played maybe one game less than people above them. They've got a couple of games in hand on Palace. But if they lose, and let's just say Leeds win, Brentford win, and Palace win, Leicester could find themselves in 15,
16.
With Everton breathing down their necks if Everton pick up points. Well, Everton can't.
There's a formula. So they won 1 in 5. So I don't know. I don't know. The question would be, who could Leicester get who is better?
Oh no, who they're going to pick as a manager, I think, is a different question completely. But my question is now: you've got a team that has finished 5th 2 seasons prior.
It needs a rebuild, doesn't it?
When being in 4th position and should have had both of them secured off.
Yeah.
And now you are nowhere near, and you're not even going to look like you're going to
get Europa Conference even, are they?
No, you are so far behind.
So, and out of the FA Cup. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's a place probably that needs a bit of a rebuild again, I would say.
I think Potter needs to take up.
He would be a good fit there, wouldn't
I think Potter just needs to get given. Look.
But is that a bigger club than Brighton?
Yeah, well, if you support Nick Asher, you've got Premier League champions, FA Cup winners, played in Europe.
Yeah.
3 major things that Brighton haven't done.
Yeah. But Brighton are sat 9th with 30, but only 4 points more, I suppose. But don't know, Potter, I just wonder whether would he go? Probably would, because of what you just said. But I don't know. We'll wait and see. Talking of managerial coaches' lifespans.
Okay.
Right. I know you're not much of an egg chasing fan, but you're a sports fan. And I posed this question to Cookie the other day. So England obviously lost again in the opening Six Nations at Scotland. Murrayfield, yeah. So lost the Calcutta Cup, which
I think it's a shocking result.
Yeah, I think there's some extenuating circumstances. I think they were hit again by injuries and COVID later. So it's a very young side, very little leadership in there on the pitch, and I don't think the calls went their way from what I've read. But that's sport, isn't it? You know, I'm whinging about the decision I got on Saturday. It's just how it goes.
Somebody says you whinge about every decision.
Oh, that's what the captain said. He doesn't know the game. Play at a decent level. Come and talk to me. Anyway, my point is this. So since Jones has taken over and we got to the final of the 2019.
Yeah, was it South Africa last?
Yeah, 2019 World Cup final after a heroic win against New Zealand, right? In which Charlie's words were he's living off that result, because since then there has, and I know they kind of work in 4-year cycles, rugby very systematically for World Cup to World Cup. So, but there's been zero improvement. The results have been in and out. They've not won a Six Nations or a Grand Slam. I know, again, like any of the sports, COVID has affected them the way that... My question is, if that was an England football manager, or even an England cricket coach, I was very critical of Silverwood, but up until this year, you know, the last 18 months, they were going well. I'm not sure he'd be in a job now.
No, I think that although the Six Nations, I don't think Eddie Jones holds that in great value.
I think that's a valid point, actually.
But I think that is almost like a measuring tool. So it's almost like the Europa League for England football teams. That we're not bothered about winning it, but we want to perform well in it.
In the European Championship.
And I get what you're on about cycles of periodisation, is that you want to hit your top form going into a tournament or peak within the tournament element. But you can have macro cycles and micro cycles that fit inside that aspect, where you would then expect to peak at this point, then have a little bit of a dip, and then pick up again. And then it's almost like a stepping stone. But you're right, I don't think it should be in the role. If the fact that we have not done anything in Six Nations, we've not done anything around the world in retrospect, and I wonder what actual rating we are in the world ranking.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about who could take over.
But even to the point where you start then comparing, and I know you made a few excuses there for them with regards to it was a young team, there was a few out of COVID. Surely the standard of rugby in England, with the amount of quality players we've got, we should still be able to beat the likes of Scotland, because I wouldn't say Scotland are too far off being Italy's level, or maybe a little bit better than Italy's level. I grant it that maybe beating the Welsh in them circumstances would be a different task. The same as with Ireland, because Ireland are a different nation as well, and France. But at the moment, in pecking order, we fifth out the best? Fifth out the sixth?
At the minute, you would say, I think you made a good comparison. And again, I'm not an expert, but I do follow it a little bit. Gregor Townsend, on the other hand, with Scotland, is getting the absolute most of what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
I just think, as an England sports fan, and I must admit, I haven't watched as much of the internationals as I would have done when I was at home, because it's just different. The coverage isn't as on, and the timing's a bit in and out, and things like that. So I haven't watched a great deal since the World Cup, I'll be honest, which I did watch, but I do read the reports, and I just think that, but they're not going to sack him now because we're only World Cup's 2023, so we're only 18. I'm assuming towards the end.
But then, even now, the performance of the players should be building towards that in a year's time. So this should be a case of minimum expectations should be to win the Six Nations to then push on.
Yeah, or even like at least not win 4 out of 5 games since progression, or we're not playing foul there. Oh, he's injured there. We're not playing foul there. We're going to play there because we're trying. There's just doesn't seem to be any progression without a question. But I don't know, any rugby fans out there who think we're talking rubbish, but I think Charlie kind of agreed with me, and he doesn't rate Eddie Jones. I think he said as a backs coach, because we don't seem very creative. Because I think another theme of England throughout his tenure is that we have a lot of possession, a lot of territorial possession, but we don't come away with a lot of points and a lot of tries. So.
Right, I'll tell you what is. I know we're getting on for time here. You want to quickly mention Test squad?
Yeah, just the fact that obviously Collingwood has been in as interim head coach. They've picked what can only be described as a bizarre squad. 8 omissions from the Ashes tour. Someone like Hamid Burns, don't think they've got any option. Billings only came in for the 1 Test match. But clearly, I think Milan's a little bit unfortunate because he did tail off during that. But I still think he's got something, but I don't think he'll play Test cricket again now. And the lad has been in a bubble for about 16 months, to be fair to him. But the biggest omission is Broad and Anderson.
Yeah, but I know you didn't agree with this when I said this a while ago, is that it needed freshening up. And these guys are, touching 40?
Yeah, 39 and 35, 30, 34, 35.
So is it now time that we've realised, I probably followed cricket more closely in the last 2 years we've been doing this podcast than I've ever done in my life, is that...
What an influence I am.
Oh no, at least I sleep well at night. But it's been a progression of we need Broad and Anderson in because they're our only go-to bowlers. But because we're always using them, is that not stumping the pathway for somebody else to come in? And is it about time that maybe, and I hate using comparisons, you don't want to go and find the next Messi, you just want to go and find the next good player.
Yeah.
Isn't it about time we found somebody that's going to come in and support alongside Jeffrey Archer? Or is there
Jeffrey Archer.
Joffrey Archer. Or is there somebody else that could come in that could be a new good spinner? Because Moeen Ali came in, I can't even remember how many years ago, and everybody thought that this was going to be the next Shane Warne type of player, and he hasn't got to the heights that we thought. So is it now time to go, right, let's talk about the England rugby team, and we'll make comparisons again, let's just wipe the slate clean, let's go, right, there's this competition in 4 years' time, what can we see around the counties now that we can potentially develop, and then put red ball back on the map. Even though the ball's now, that's how bad it is. And get red ball cricket back on the map, where we then become a challenging nation, rather than being what I bet we've dropped about 7th or 8th right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think you make some valid points, and I think I've said that even myself, that there's got to be a time where you move away from them, right? However, the issue is, Joffrey Archer is still injured, coming back to fitness. I think he'll be fit for the summer. He might even bowl in the next, I think, in the Caribbean. So that is an issue for England, because he's the one who's got the pace and something different that I think they'll try and mould the attack round. But there are 2 best bowlers still. And the issue I've got is that the 4 bowlers, or the bowling attack that will start the next Test match, is the exact bowling attack that started the first Ashes Test match this summer. Everybody said they got it wrong, and they've admitted they got it wrong. So, yes, at some point they've got to make way for the next best thing. But I just don't think it's the right time to do it.
But then Glenn Hoddle got slated for dropping Gascoigne and saying it was the wrong time to do that. And arguably we played the best football in played in that competition.
It's always a tricky one. I just think on this occasion they should have been in the squad. I'm not saying they should necessarily play, but I think they should be travelling. But the flip side of that is, I think they're difficult to manage. As much as they're legends of the game, and as much as off the field that Broad's very eloquent, very cool, calm, collected, charismatic, and Anderson's got a bit of a media persona as well with his podcast and chirpy, that I think they're difficult to work with. And if you only have to look back years when Peterson's autobiography came out where he slammed players, and they were part of this bowling unit that he slammed for the way they would treat other members of the squad, the fielders, if you dropped a catch on torch for 3 days or something like that. I just wonder whether there's an element of, Root said, they're difficult to manage, kind of start fresh. And if he has, fair play to him. Because you're not going to rebuild anything with grumpy old men.
You're also not going to get that team ethos together if you've got people like that in it.
No. And look, I'm surmising, I've got no idea. If it's purely on ability, both of them should be in the squad.
Get rid of them. Right, let's move on.
Good to see some new players though, as well.
You've chucked in Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, going to ask you this. You don't know idea, have you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So, Commonwealth Games Birmingham this summer.
Yes.
And I've listened to it on the radio actually, and
please don't ask me what countries are involved because I don't know. I know it's the Commonwealth, but don't ask me to list the name of them.
Come on.
Scotland.
Yeah, well done. England. Australia. Go Australia. So I then read an article, found out. Did I hear that right? So basically, there is at the same time as Commonwealth Games going on under the same umbrella, although they're not going to get medalled as Commonwealth medalists. There's esports going on.
Right.
Admittedly, don't know what esports actual games are. I'm assuming they're athletic sports. Like I don't know.
Maybe like track and field.
Yeah, can you remember that? Oh, you joystick, but something like that.
You what? Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, so these sports going on, and in the hope that it encourages a bit more engagement with the Commonwealth Games as a whole.
Yes.
And for children. Now, it's obviously received mixed reviews. Sharon Davis, the former Olympic swimmer British, who's very outspoken, opinionated. I actually agree with most of the time, to be fair, but she's dead against it. Her tweet was, this is not a sport, it's a game. There's other people who come out and say, why are we encouraging people to game, sat on the backside, that's not well, but you know their arguments. Now I know you're a secret gamer.
What do you mean secret?
Well, not secret.
I did the podcast for the first 4 months with a gaming set.
Yeah, we couldn't see it.
Couldn't see it.
So my point is, what do you think about the fact that it looks like esports is trying to make way into, historically traditional large sport events? Because let's face it, if this goes okay, they're going to try and then make it under the proper Commonwealth umbrella in 4 years' time. The next thing will be Olympics or similar things like that.
I don't have an issue with it. I think there's elements there that we talk about brain functionality, quickness to respond to things, hand-eye coordination with regards to what you're doing, improvement of muscle memory. It ticks lots of boxes that lots of other sports do. There's an argument that says that you're encouraging people to sit behind a chair playing a computer game, but the brain processing thought behind it is so much faster. Well, then you could always argue, what does archery bring to the table if you're talking about physicality? Because you could just then say, well, I'm just standing there firing an arrow. So I think there's a lot, and it's a very, very blurred line on what makes a game, a sport, or an activity, or even a hobby. And it goes across the board, and you can go across that and say, oh, well, that's not a sport, that's a hobby. And people throw darts in there, they throw snooker in there, golf to a degree. But there's arguments that say that you're walking in golf, it outweighs it. Look at the state of the golfers now, they're not carrying lots of things. Darts players do carry it, but then you go back 20, 30 years ago, did rugby players all had specific body shapes that fit positions, didn't they? And if you're a prop, you're a little barrel, a little fat unit.
You were then, back then,
but not so much anymore. But I think it's a very close line to being a negative thing in regards to well-being. But then, if you were to spend 1 week with these people that train for these esports And when we're talking about esports covers such a vast brand, and this is how much of a geek I am, is that it can be from playing a computer game as an individual, it can be working as a team unit as part of a role-playing game where they have to use skill sets from each other to combine in order to try and win a game. And then there's also elements of drone racing, which classes as an esport. So if you consider drone racing as an esport, what's the difference between that and like the Red Bull
F1 driver?
Yeah, and that aspect. And a lot of the F1 guys during lockdown actually kitted themselves up with the VR sets, with the actual car things. And some of them actually spend some time now practicing going around the courses on the computers with the full setup, with the steering wheels, the pedals, and even the shape of the car. So there's an element that it's becoming more reality. And let's be honest, as you look at Commonwealth Games, look at the Olympics, look at the Winter Olympics, they're always trying to modernise, they're always trying to bring something in. So skateboarding being in there is like a funky thing to do. I love snowboard, downhill racing now.
Speed skating.
Speed skating is one of my favourite games ever, races ever. But they've just brought in a new one, which I'm interested to watch. Is they've done snowboarding relay races. So I'm waiting to see how that set up and how that interacts. But I think you've got to keep modernising. You've got to keep people going. Look at the modern pentathlon. How much of a disaster that was. Where they smacked the horse and it created all sorts of problems. But that was based upon, and this is how bizarre it is, and I don't know how much you know about this, is the modern pentathlon was based upon, when it was designed all them years ago, back in ancient Greece, was the best type of warrior. It was the best person at shooting, the best person at hand-to-hand combat, and the best person at horse riding. That's where the modern pentathlon came from. And then they've kind of evolved it. And I believe now that they've rejigged it and it won't ever have some of the events in now moving forward. So,
Call it the very modern pentathlon.
The even more modern.
Or the pentathlon.
The moderner. But I can see where people are very much like, ooh. But I think when you understand a little bit more about it, I'm all for it, because it's a bit like a darts player, snooker player, and an athlete. Right, maybe they're not physically running around the place, but they'll spend as much time working on fine-tuning that skill or ability to making sure they're professional to the best of their ability. And argument says is that if it was easy, anybody could do it.
Of course, and I think,
but it won't be.
The fine line is, I agree with you. I think you've got to try anything to get engagement into all these things, and there's definitely a skill set to it. When I can't play computer games. I'm useless at them. Always have been. Always will be. I think the issue with it is we've got to get away from the stereotype of, and I used to teach it, the gamer being the computer geek who sits in a black bedroom.
You see somebody with long hair with a headset on, that grungy like looking, smelly ass room.
We've got to move away from that, because, like I say, it's and talking to drones. You know, not only we've got F1 drivers, but some of our fighter pilots fly those drones from a base not far from where I live,
using an Xbox controller.
Correct. And they're flying them drones there. So don't tell me. I agree with you. Don't tell me there's not skill in it or there's not ability. Whether it is a sport, whether it's a game, whether it should be, I think. But I'm all for giving things a go and see what happens. We've got to get rid of the stereotype.
And you've also got to think that not everybody's going to be blessed with natural physique, and people have to work harder than others to try and stay in shape. So why should we then limit it to say, and we are a more inclusive world than we used to be. Like, just look at the Paralympics in Victor's Games as well, that all came about. That we would never had that 40, 50 years ago.
And you're right, that actually, surely we're not better off somebody engaging, and it's not just sport, but this is our passion, our love, engaging with sport in some way, than being ostracised because, like you said, they're too small, they're too overweight, they can't run very fast, they can't throw very far. Well, actually, but I still want to be involved in it. And we've got loads of other jobs career-wise, but if they've got a skill that sits a different element, then give it a go.
Right, we have well and truly waffled on today. I just looked up at the clock. 54 minutes. Right, let's quickly.
People will sleep well tonight. Right?
Yes, if they're not already asleep. Right, let's get the fantasy football winners out. So we have last week's, which was concluded last Friday night. Oh no, Saturday night with Saturday game. Then we also have the monthly winner, and then we have this week's winner. So last week's weekly winner was Jason Smith. So congratulations,
Smith.
Yeah.
And I know what your team stands for now.
Yeah, he told me about it the other day as well, but couldn't repeat it too loudly because we're at work. And this week's winner is our very own holiday mate, Nick Latham.
Oh, big shout out to Nick because he went with the cricket team last night.
Yeah, he does a great favour last night. Lovely long evening. And to be fair, I did let him win it curling today.
Didn't let him win that old
And
chestnut.
the monthly winner is Sam Holiday. So congratulations, Sam. Everybody get in contact and we'll have the vouchers over to you.
Bit time for you, is it, mate?
I'm going to rearrange a few bits of items on the furniture, jump in the shower, and then hit the snooze button. Yeah.
Very good.
What have you got up to?
I'm going to go home. I've got a couple of jobs to do, and I might go and partake in a milkshake or
I
two.
believe you're meeting up with a few colleagues.
A few colleagues. We'll see.
Excellent. But at the end of the day, Jack,